Guys, so today I want to talk about this. I want to talk about perfectionism a little bit because I think that some of you guys are struggling with it and you don't quite realize that that's what it is. I tried to make this video just a moment ago. Hey Kimka, how's it going? Good morning. But my brother was on and he made me nervous, so I'm coming back. And now my cousin is on. Kimka, you're gonna have to like jump off. I'm sorry because you guys make me nervous and I can't talk. When I'm nervous. But all right, so I want to talk about perfectionism a little bit because I've been getting like a lot of messages. You guys know that I have the feedback form. You guys also know, bye. You guys know that I communicate with you guys via Instagram, and that's kind of like a common theme that I'm starting to see from some of you guys is just feeling like you're doing all the things, you're trying your best, and pretty much nothing that you do is good enough. And I want to talk about this today because I feel like this is something that I can relate to all too well. And it's sad because I feel like I can give you guys all the strategies, all the techniques, all the things that have helped me on this journey. But this is the area that I don't feel so confident in, is the like internal stuff, you know? And hey, thank you so much for jumping on, and how to help you guys navigate through that. And I feel like the only thing that I can do is just share my story and kind of share the process that kind of helped me kind of start to overcome some of those feelings. And another thing that I want to talk about is just this whole idea of perfectionism, because sometimes I think that as a society, we tend to call perfectionism like a good thing. Like, oh my God, it's just the perfectionist in me. I have to make sure that everything's just right. And I think we tend to think that perfectionists, have their lives together. And if I don't have my life together, then I'm not a perfectionist. And one thing that I talk about on my YouTube channel a lot is that my Flylady Journey helped me realize that type of, oh my gosh, everything must be perfect. It's the perfectionist in me. That's not the only type of perfectionism that exists. For some of us, we're struggling with perfectionism and we don't even know it. We have these standards in our head of how things need to look, how things need to get done. And if we don't feel like we're reaching those standards, then it's not good enough, right? And so that's the kind of perfectionism that I had. Either it's not good enough, or like if I can't reach that standard, it causes me to like shut down, beat myself up, and it causes me not to make progress at all. Or even worse, perfectionism can cause you to procrastinate and delay on things if you don't feel like you're in a position or in a time to do it well. And so I talked about this quite extensively on the Peaceful Homekeeping Challenge. So if you want to kind of see, I have models and guides and all that stuff to kind of exemplify what I'm talking about. Hey, thanks for jumping on, guys. So if you guys want to see that, definitely feel free to refer back to that video. But I just want to talk about just why this is kind of hurtful for you guys. The number one problem that I see when you guys are, you're jumping in the systems, you're making progress, things are starting to get better, but you have this standard that you feel like you have to reach. So you're starting here and things are starting to slowly get better, but all you can see is like what you haven't done. And I just want to tell you that if that's pretty much where all your energy is on, is the gap, like the things that are not done, it's very draining, And like it's also a very like negative type of energy. And so what I've learned is when I'm just constantly functioning in that energy, I don't know why, but it makes me get less done. It just makes me get less done. I don't know if it's emotionally draining. I don't know like what it is, but it's not helpful. It's really not helpful if you see that things are improving, things are getting better, but you can only see the things that you're not getting done. And when you start kind of radiating in that energy and you're constantly frustrated and you feel like you're not good enough, it makes you feel like you just want to shut down. And I would rather, instead of being here where I'm making progress and things are getting better, I would rather go back to the way things were and not even try if I can't hit my target. And that is like one of the most dangerous things about perfectionism, is it just causes you not to even want to try. And so, like I said, I can relate to that completely. But in my mind, I think before I started my Flylady journey, it was a little more subtle. Instead of me saying that I don't want to try it all, what I would do instead is I would try later. I will do it later. I will get to it at a different time when things are better, or when I don't have so much going on. And, I have 4 kids and I have like a life that I'm trying to juggle. I work part-time in the morning. I'm tired, And when I'm constantly waiting for things to come at a good time or for things to get perfect, all I know is that, a lot of my responsibilities, the things I was putting off and neglecting, like months would go by and I wouldn't be making progress in that area, or years would go by and I wouldn't be making progress on my decluttering projects, or some of the projects that I had around my home. And so that's that's a type of perfectionism that I didn't realize that I was dealing with. The one that makes you either shut down and you don't want to do anything at all because you feel so bad about it or feel so bad about yourself, or the one that makes you procrastinate. So I just really want to bring that to your attention, because like I said, if you're constantly looking at what you haven't done and what you haven't reached, it's going to have the potential to just negatively just throw you off of your progress, throw you off of your track. And one thing that I've learned through this journey is that sometimes when that gap is there, I feel like sometimes we walk around feeling like that gap is always going to be there. The things that I can't accomplish today, I will never be able to accomplish it. I feel like I want to see this house looking beautiful 100% of the time, and if I can't do it today, I will never be able to get there. And I just want to let you guys know that that is not true. Some of this stuff is a process, and you have to continually work and tweak and perfect your plan to slowly inch you toward that vision that you have in your head a little bit every day, And so it's like if you give up before you had a chance to really play with the system, tweak it, figure out how to make it work with you, and like you're using all of your energy to be like frustrated with yourself and mad at yourself, I'm just saying that it makes it really hard to figure out how to slowly work your way and get better and better over time. And so basically, I just can't really find one way that beating yourself up is helpful. And so I just also wanted to say that I know I'm kind of all over the place, you guys. Usually I come like very prepared. That's the perfectionism in me. But I just felt like I just wanted to just create this video and just have something, just to be supportive of you guys. And I wanted to show up. But another thing that kind of beating yourself up does to you is, I want to say that there's a difference between like being disappointed that you have this checklist, you have this goal that you want to see. There's a difference between being like disappointed that you didn't make that happen versus just having like anxiety and like beating yourself up and really feeling that negative energy. For me, I use that disappointment to say, okay, like I had this plan, things didn't go the way I wanted to go. And I sit down and I think about like solutions and what am I going to do, next week to make it work out a little better. And I feel like, if you're feeling disappointment, that's just a sign that, okay, I didn't like the way this went. What can I do to make it better? But it's just really when you start to get into that really low energy, that frustration, that anger with yourself, that anxiety, to me, I've learned that that's not helpful. And so I want to talk about the thing that kind of helped me kind of pull myself out of that type of mindset to just giving myself more grace and being more kind to myself and being more understanding to myself. Whenever I started my channel and I was trying to talk about Flylady, like I said, I feel like I'm so good at like talking about the logistic stuff, but like talking about the emotional stuff, like I am not so good at that. So I'm going to try my best to kind of share like my experience and kind of how I started to shift out of that. And so I think before Flylady, the thing that I really wanted to see was, I had this vision in my head for how my home should look, what my processes should look like, how much effort I should be spending in cleaning. And I had this vision in my head, and I thought that I would be happy when I hit that mark. And like I felt like, okay, I'm here, things are great now. But what I learned through my Flylady journey is that that is not actually what brought peace to me, and that's not actually what made me feel happy. What makes me feel happy is knowing that like I'm on the path to getting there, and to be here and to constantly be working every week to slowly reach the goals that I have. And so on the Flylady system, we call that progress, not perfection. Perfection is like, you needed to be here yesterday. And if you're not hitting this target, you suck. You're not doing a good job. Like, I mean, that's how you talk to yourself. That's perfectionism. And usually, like I said, perfectionism makes people binge clean and burn out. Perfectionism makes people shut down, not want to try at all. Or perfectionism just doesn't acknowledge you whenever you are trying and there is that gap. Perfectionism never looks at, oh, okay, look how much I'm doing. Look how much better things are. Look what I'm accomplishing. Perfectionism always says, but look at what you have left. Like you didn't even try to reach that goal. Like you're not hitting the bar. And so progress, on the other hand, says like, okay, like I see that this is where you are. Like, what can I tweak a little bit next week to make it a little better? Okay, like this is where we are now. What can I tweak? What can I change just a little bit to get better? And progress is really, I mean, it's really a process. It takes time, and it involves you just kind of thinking through that situation and being okay with not being there today, because you know that you're changing your situation and you're tweaking it and you're making things a little bit better over time. And for me, I have this very vivid memory of when I felt that transition of my self-talk and how I kind of viewed the situation happening in my heart. So, as I started my morning routine, for me, like shining your sink and doing your hot spots and stuff like that, that's an easy win. So it was like exciting to do that and to finally feel like, dishes weren't taking over, my hot spots weren't taking over. So those are like quick wins. But when I started to feel, I don't know, just this relief of kind of letting go of some of that perfectionism is, I can't remember. I just had like a long day one day, and I think we went shopping, plus I got all my routines done that day, and it was just really long. And I just remember hearing myself say, like, I had a bubble bath planned for that day, and I remember like hearing myself say, like, girl, you had a long day, you've been productive, you've gone through your checklist, like you deserve to have this bubble bath. And I've just always, I don't think prior to that moment, like I ever felt like, that's another problem with perfectionism. If you're not hitting the bar, you feel like you don't deserve anything. You feel like you don't deserve rest. You feel like you don't deserve a break. Like it's just so toxic. And I just remember going into my bathroom. At this point, I had not zone cleaned in there, so it looked crazy. And I was like, it was like a weird kind of like disconnect in my brain. Like, how are you saying that you deserve to like have some self-care, to just soak in this bubble bath and to relax when your bathroom is looking crazy? And like, that's when I knew that, girl, something is changing in you. And so like for me, like I said, I really feel like we beat ourselves up because we have these standards. But I think that for a lot of us, what we really want is to know that we're on the path to reaching our goals, and we just want to know that we can do it. And so for me, there's a lot of things in my home. Like the gap is still there. Like I have not reached that standard in my head for what my home should be looking like, how on top of it I should be, what my processes should be looking like. But I know, and I feel confident that anything in my environment that I see that I don't like, that I have a system that will help me knock it out. I know that if I want to slowly, fine tune and tweak and be more consistent on my routines, I know that there are things that I can do to make it better. I know that I can problem solve and I can tweak it and make things a little bit better over time. And so for me, that's just extremely healing, because I think before I felt powerless. I felt like no matter what I did, I couldn't make things better. And like, not that I couldn't make things better. I felt like I couldn't hit the bar. And for me now, it's not so much important to hit the bar. It's more important for me to know that I can grow, I can make things better, and I can slowly get there over time. And so one last thing that I want to say about perfectionism is that I think for some of us, we have this standard in our head. We have this bar that we should be reaching. And I just want to make sure that you're very aware that, number one, that bar is like imaginary. It doesn't really exist. Because what's going to happen if you're struggling with perfectionism is as soon as you hit that bar, there's just going to be a new standard, a new goal, a new thing in your mind that you think you should be doing now. And it's like a rat race. Like you'll never hit it. And so it's just like, it can be like a chronic thing if you're not aware of it. And if you're not just constantly assessing that, like, is this, if you're not aware of it and you're not constantly assessing, like, am I struggling with perfectionism here? And so, like I said, the dangerous part is if perfectionism is causing you to shut down if perfectionism is causing you to not even want to try, if perfectionism is causing you to go back to the way things used to be, because even though you're making progress, you don't feel like it's enough, you don't feel like you're reaching your bar, so why bother? And I just want to let you know that in order to really grow on this system and to grow as a person and to grow in your goals, like, you have to become aware of that and you have to shake it. You have to just be like, you know what, like, I know that if I show up for these 15 minutes of zone cleaning, I may not, crush it today. I may not finish this project, but at least I'm doing something about it, and at least it's better than when I started. And I have to remind myself of that all the time. Progress, not perfection. Progress, not perfection. Progress, not perfection. Like, we have to learn how to experience what it's like to not be perfect. And when I say that, I feel like I'll go into this kind of this weekend, but when I say that, like, it's okay to like try something, it's okay to try something, to make progress on something and not hit the bar, because if you're consistent and you keep showing up and you keep trying, eventually you will get closer and closer. And with progress, the thing that I love about progress is, I just mentioned that perfectionism, like, once you hit your goal, the bar gets higher. Once you hit your goal, the bar gets higher with perfectionism. So it's really a never ending cycle. I feel like the same thing kind of happens with progress, but it's a little bit different. With progress, maybe you have this goal and you're slowly inching toward it, and like, you can hit that goal and you'll continue, because it's like, with progress, you're growing and you're getting stronger and you're getting a little better each week. And there's no cap on that either. So, I mean, hey. Okay, so there's no cap on that either. Is it Gimp Goth Girl? Hey, girl. So there's no cap on growth either. There's no cap on perfectionism. There's no cap on growth either. And I just feel like one feels better than the other. One is more productive than the other. And one is going to help you reach your goals better than the other. So, like I said, I feel like I'm not very good at talking about like the emotional stuff. Give me something about strategy. Give me something about setting up your system. Give me something about setting up your organization. And I got you all day, every day. But the emotional stuff, I feel like, is just as important. And it was something that I really felt as I was going through my system. I really felt that shift in myself from struggling with perfectionism and feeling like everything that I was doing is not enough and feeling like a failure, to feeling like it's okay. I am enough and I'm making progress and things are getting better. And it's okay that I'm not there. I can grow into it, and having that confidence that I can. And so the last thing that I want to talk about before I go ahead and jump off of here for the morning is, I thought it was kind of interesting that kind of as I was going through this emotional transition in myself, that I happened to come across a song that I listened to before and that I really loved. But at the time, I don't know if this has ever happened to you guys, where maybe you listen to a song or you read a book or somebody gives you advice or you read something in the Bible, and the first time you read it, you're like, okay, yeah, that's cute. I like it. That's interesting. And then like you get some wisdom on you, or you have some cool experiences, and then you go back and listen to that same song and you're like, wow, this is like really deep. So I had an experience like that really kind of helped me. I felt like someone else expressed what that process was like for me, to like finally feel like I was breaking out of the perfectionism and being okay with progress. And it was a Beyonce song, y'all. Y'all know I love Beyonce and I'm always talking about her. And she has this song called Pretty Hurts. And I always thought that song was about like physical beauty and like trying to look perfect, perfect makeup, perfect clothes, perfect body. And I think that, yes, there is some of that in the song, but I'm going to read to you guys some pieces of the song that really made me feel like she's not talking about like just physical beauty. She's talking about like all types of perfectionism and how it can hurt us, and like how it can just really just rob your joy emotionally. And so anyway, she says, pretty hurts, shine your light on whatever's worst. So basically she's saying that like pretty, like obviously physical pretty, but I even think pretty like in terms of our standards, the things that we idealize, the goals that we're trying to reach. And she's saying it hurts because what you're doing is you're trying to reach that, but you can never give yourself credit for what you've accomplished, for the progress that you're making. You always shine your light on the thing that's you didn't do right. That could be like me coming in here, spending 5 hours cleaning this room, vacuuming it, trying to put it together. And my attention is always going to go to that one corner, that one edge, that one place that didn't get worked on, that didn't get done. And that's so toxic, you guys. Like, it's so toxic. So, she said, perfection is a disease of a nation. Pretty hurts, pretty hurts. Yeah, and I do think, like, we're trained to kind of become perfectionists and to kind of always look for the thing that we did wrong. And so it's not just, for some of us, it's not just a personal issue. It's like a problem in our society. Even like with last week, I was talking about advertisements and commercials and how, you know, that's their main way to get us to buy products and to consume things, is by making us feel like crap about ourselves. If we walked around feeling like confident and like we can do anything and feeling like, you know, just okay with where we are and okay with the process of growth, then like I feel like these people would make less money. Like these big, you know, these corporations who create these ads, most of those ads are intended to make you feel self-conscious, to just make you feel like less than, to make you feel like you're not doing enough. Because once they can trigger those emotions inside of you, then that's when you start buying stuff, and that's when you start spending your money, because you want to, you know, feel better. You want to try to fill in that void that they just created in you. So I do agree with her. It's a disease of a nation. Like, you know, we're constantly bombarded with all these messages and images of what we should be doing, what we should look like, what things should be like. And if we don't feel like we're hitting that bar, it makes us feel like crap. And there's a very intention behind doing that and making us feel like that. And then she says, yeah, try to fix something, but you can't fix what you can't see. It's the soul that needs the surgery. So basically, once again, we're trying to fix our home, fix our bodies, fix our face, fix all these things, but you can't fix just your physical environment alone. It's your soul. Like, you have to really like have that conversation about what's going on in your heart, about like why you're being so hard on yourself all the time, and how to get out of it. So that's only if something that you can fix on the inside. And so and I feel like that's kind of what I experienced with, you know, my Flylady journey. Is it was really an opportunity for me to like examine myself and to just examine like what, like, where is this coming from, what's going on, and to start to break free out of that and transition to a mindset of progress instead. And so that is something that you can't fix in your environment. You can't fix that in your home if you're struggling with perfectionism. Like, you can only fix that in your soul. And then this next part I like. She says, y'all, I'm not Beyonce, okay? I know I can't sing. She says, ain't got no doctor or pill that can take the pain away. The pain's inside and nobody frees you from your body. It's my soul, it's the soul that needs surgery. So basically, the pain of perfectionism, y'all, it's very real. It's very painful. And for some of us, you know, we, instead of like dealing with the problem on the inside, maybe we try to go take medication for it. We try to go to the doctors to see if they can help us with it. But it's like the only person that can free you from perfectionism is yourself. And like, oh, that's just so hard, because I feel like I want to like help you guys with that. But I honestly, the only thing I can do is just share my story and to share what I've learned. But the only person who can free you from just constantly beating yourself up like that is yourself and your mindset. And, you know, and so plastic smiles and denials can only take you so far. Then you break when the fake facade leaves you in the dark. Okay, I'm not going to hit this next high note. But she says, you're left with a shattered mirror and the shards of a beautiful girl. And so the thing that really stood out to me is that, yeah, like, well, this part, for me, I felt like that's kind of what happened. Is I had these standards in my head. I was really trying to live them up to them. I always felt like I wasn't doing a good job. And then last year, I reached my freaking breaking point. And that she says here, she's like, you break, basically, you're left with shattered mirror and the shards of a beautiful girl. So the image that I have is like, there's this mirror. Like, you're trying to present this perfect front to the world, and pretty much the mirror just crashes. And now you're left with all these shards of glass. That's the image that I have when I hear that part. And I honestly feel like kind of during that whole period of time, like that's just what happened to me. I always tell you guys that I started this journey because I reached a breaking point. Like, I was just like, enough is enough. And I just felt the pain of perfectionism so bad. I always felt like I wasn't reaching these standards, and I was hurting so bad on the inside because I was trying to, like I said, reach up to these standards that I just didn't feel like I could reach at the time. And when I just finally gave up. And I kind of feel like that the Flylady system came into my life at the right time, because that's pretty much what the system is about. It's about letting go of those standards in exchange for growth and being kind to yourself and allowing yourself to grow to the ideas that you have in your head, instead of feeling like I have to be there right now, allowing yourself to grow. And to me, that was just incredibly healing. And it's just crazy because now the goals that I had in my head, I feel like I'm closer to them now, and I have the results, like better results than I've ever had in my life. And I don't feel the pain that I used to feel. Oh, thank you so much, girl. I'm over here just rambling. I wasn't sure. I was like, I hope this makes sense. So thank you so much. Have fun at your meeting. So basically, I was just saying that, yeah, it just kind of all happened at the same time, and everything fell into place at the same time. And I honestly, sometimes I think, and I wonder, I don't know if the results that I would have had, if it would have worked out the way that, if the Flylady system would have worked out for me the way that it did, if I didn't reach my breaking point. And I would like to believe that you can learn to give yourself that grace, and that you can, like, have that internal healing without reaching your breaking point. Because, like I said, perfectionism, you never hit the bar. As soon as you hit it, it keeps going. So I would like to believe that you don't have to, like, have an emotional breaking point in order to start to experience that healing. But that's literally my story. That's kind of what happened to me, is I just was like, enough is enough. Like, I can't live like this anymore. And that system, I'm so grateful it just came into my life at the right time, because it showed me another way. And that is what I needed at the time, because I just emotionally, I was just over it. And then she said, you're left with the shattered mirror and the shards of a beautiful girl. So I told you guys that I feel like in that part of the song, I have this imagery of just these broken pieces of glass. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen, like, artwork that is made out of broken shards of glass. It's very beautiful. It's, all the pieces are unique. They, no piece ever looks the same. And literally, that's kind of how I see myself now. Before, I was trying to live this way in my mind that I think that I thought I should be living. I was mad at myself because I had this idea in my mind of what I should be doing, and I wasn't hitting it. And it's like, I'm trying to be this mirror. I'm trying to reflect back to society what you guys are telling me that I should be doing, what society is pretty much saying is the standard. And now it's more like, that I crashed that, I broke that image of what I should be doing. And now it's like, I am like gosh, this sounds so awkward. I'm so bad at talking about, like, the emotions and the feelings and stuff. But I just feel like a piece of individual artwork. Like, no, I'm not perfect. If a perfect mirror is your idea of what we should be doing. But I'm more like, a broken shards piece of glass of artwork. Maybe I should show you guys what I'm talking about. But let me see. Shards of glass artwork. Here we go. Well, this is not what I had in mind, but I don't know if you guys can see, like, just different types of artwork, right? Made out of broken shards of glass. And so this has really allowed me to just give myself grace and be like, like, I am okay with myself and all of my perfections. Like, I feel like it makes me individual, it makes me unique, and I get to be okay with that, because, it's like we're all taught that we're all different. We don't have to be perfect, but sometimes we don't really feel that in our hearts. And I feel like my Flylady journey has really helped me learn to feel that in my heart. Like, it is okay to not have my life together all the time. It is okay for that gap to be there, for me not to be doing things perfectly all the time. As long as I keep trying and I keep showing up and I keep doing my best, I can grow. I can get better and better and better. And as I mentioned, if you're constantly using perfectionism and these standards as something to assess yourself, you'll never hit it, because once you do, the bar will keep getting higher. And pretty much, like, I've just learned to be okay with that gap. Like, that gap is there, but it doesn't mean that it always has to be there. And that's where progress comes in, because progress says if I just keep showing up and I keep tackling it and I keep working on it, like, I will get better and better. I don't care how high that bar gets. I will keep getting better and better. And I have this full confidence in myself that I can grow and that I can make things better for myself. And so anyway, I know today's message was kind of rambly, but I feel like do I have any final thoughts about being a broken shard of artwork? Yeah, basically I'm just saying that I'm okay. I have learned to be more okay with just being myself and who I am. And if I have a bad week, I had a bad week. Like, okay, what can I do about it to improve upon it next week? Like, these last couple of weeks, I posted on my Instagram story that I have been really falling off of my basic weekly plan. And the old me would be like, oh my gosh, you need to get your life together. You need to, why are we having such a big issue with this? It's not that big of a deal. But like, and then I probably would make my list even longer and be like, okay, not only do you have to show up, but now you need to do all this. You need to be accountable. That's how I would have talked to myself in the old way. But now I'm like, okay, like, what can I do to like do it a little better next week? And the first thing that came to my mind is, can you lighten the load a little bit? Like, let's reestablish the habit. And so instead of trying to do 3 things, one day, maybe we'll just stick to a minimum of 1 thing at a time. So you can stick with your basic weekly plan for like a week or 2 or 3, and then let's start adding on after that. But at least do something to show up, because right now I'm not showing up at all. And so it's just like, I could just beat myself up, but I'm more just kind of disappointed. And I'm thinking about what can I do next week, because having that basic weekly plan makes my life so much easier. And so, yeah. So anyway, like I said, I feel like today is kind of rambly, but I'm trying my best, you guys. I am not like a very intuitive, like emotional person. So that's why this journey is like super special to me, because like I said, I can talk to you guys about strategy, logistics, planning, all that, all day, every day. But I feel like we're more than that. Like, we're human beings and we're more than that. We're also we also have our emotions that we need to think about, and they can make you successful on this journey, and they can hamper you as well if you're not careful and if you're not aware. So we got to talk about it. And even though I don't feel like I'm the greatest at that, all I can do is share my story and the hopes that maybe you guys can relate. So anyway, I know that was ranty and rambly. Sorry, I'm not good at the emotional stuff, but I hope that you guys are having a successful week, and that you guys are at least attempting to do the zone cleaning. It's okay if it's not perfect this week. It's okay if you didn't show up as often as you want. But I hope that you guys are at least attempting it, and you're starting to see things change in your environment. And I will see you guys on Sunday. We're going to talk about the weekly home blessing. So that should be fun. All right, I will see you guys later.